Last week they made it tough when they lost to a fired-up St George Dragons at the SCG. Hanging in the balance today is a fall from the top three or being top of the table with a big win. But a big plus is the return from injury of dynamic centre Jarrod McCracken. The Canberra Raiders can be the minor premiers with a win today. But tragically, they lost linchpin halfback Ricky Stewart with a broken ankle in last weekend's 68-0 record romp over Parramatta. The big question today is how well can the Green Machine operate without him? It's the match of the round. Live from Belmore Sports Ground, the Canterbury Bulldogs versus the Canberra Raiders.
Terry Lamb leads out the Bulldogs. A huge roar. Mark Brokenshire there. He is back from a long absence with a broken jaw. He hasn't played in reserve grade. He's straight back into first grade. Paul Doolan and Jim Dimmock, the last two out.
Jim Dimmock's made a major impact with the Canterbury side this year. He's been probably their most consistent player, both himself and Terry Lamb.
Scott Wilson at fullback, Paul Doolan on the wing, Gary Connolly and Jarrod McCracken, the international centre pair. Jason Williams coming onto the wing for Brett Dallas, who's injured. Terry Lamb at 5'8", Craig Polamatta at halfback, Jim Dimmock at lock forward, Dean Pay and Darren Smith, a much stronger second row for Canterbury today. Martin Bella, Jim Sedaris, Mark Brokenshire up front. The Raiders led out by a very determined Mal Meninga. He will really want to show the way today. Laurie Daly has that important role at 5'8". He will be calling a lot of the shots. Mandruku, David Furner, what a season he's having. Has become a very important player for the Raiders. They are much more than a one-man side. Gary Belcher at fullback, Noah Nandruku on the wing, Mal Meninga and Brett Mullins, the powerful, fast centre pair, Sean Hoppy, the other winger, Laurie Daly, 5'8", Trevor Shadell at halfback, Jason Croker at lock forward, Bradley Clyde still on the sidelines, Quentin Pongia and David Furner in the second row, John Lomax, Steve Walters and Brett Hetherington in the front row. Hetherington taking the place of Paul Osborne, who is injured. Referee is Graham Annesley. And away we go from the boot of Mal Meninga. And who should receive first? Terry Lamb. And gets it to Gary Connolly. And Connolly, I'm sure, will appreciate having McCracken alongside him. McCracken, a strong, straight and hard runner, as Jim Dimmock takes it up to the 20-metre. Sedaris a dummy half, and the first penalty of the match goes against the Raiders up inside the 10 metres in centre field. And Terry Lamb takes a quick tap, doesn't go for touch from centre field. Now will we see Canterbury try and play the Brisbane game of taking the pace to the Raiders? It's Bella hitting it up and met by Lomax and also Croker. That should be a good contest. Two very strong men, the two front rowers. Brokenshire into the fray. Gavin Hill is on the bench. Bella, his second hit up in a matter of moments. 10 metres inside the Canberra half. Now ripping in is Dean Pay. I think Canterbury will benefit from having him in the second row rather than the front row today. Lamb, Polamatta, kicking on the last, and finds touch behind Nandruku. So a fine start for Canterbury. Solid football, great way to play a set of 6.
Very interesting to see there also that Terry Lamb's first pivot off the right given to the second pass, Craig Polamatta. It's normally the other way around.
I think Canterbury have done that well this year. Polamatta, probably fair to say that he's still learning how to read a game, whereas Terry Lamb, one of the masters, and they do swap over, and it's worked well for him.
Shadell gets it to Nandruku. Lamb up on top of him and helped out by Scott Wilson. Wilson still holding down the fullback spot from Luke Goodwin. Canterbury inside the 10. Annesley's going to keep them apart. Laurie Daly raced up, but he'll go for touch now. He'll give it to Mal Meninga.
Just goes to show you there, Warren, that both sides very enthusiastic in their defensive pattern. They're up just a little bit too keen.
The difference between these two teams really just the 1 point on the table. 33 points for Canberra, 32 for Canterbury. Good defence by Brokenshire. If we look at the for and against, we'll see the good record of Canberra this season. 579 points in attack. That's better than everybody else. And third best in defence. Canterbury third in attack, fourth in defence. But Canberra with a huge difference between their attack and defence. Overall, 339 points plus. And that compares to Canterbury's plus 186. Daly wide to Belcher, kicks, Mullins is chasing through. Wilson has it covered, it's gone too deep.
Very interesting to note, Warren, that Canberra have only beaten Canterbury here once since the inclusion of the competition back in 1990.
And the kick deep, too deep by Belcher. Sidaris with the tap to Brokenshire. And in the earlier games, very exciting games as well. In the under-21s, it was a 16-all draw. And in reserve grade, right on the full-time bell, Canterbury won. And they will be through possibly now, I think, to the top 3. And Canberra will miss the 5 in reserve grade.
Yeah, here's a penalty. Steve Waller's been left holding on to Brokenshire after he struck with the ball. It was a bit hard done by there.
3 penalties in 3 minutes.
Bella very involved early in the part.
And 2 is this man, Brokenshire. I doubt that he'll get the full 80 minutes, coming straight back from an injury into first grade. But with Gavin Hill on the bench, they have that option. Lamb swings it wide. Connolly kicks. Jason Williams flying through. Back goes Belcher. Williams comes right past them all and over the top of Belcher. Good work. Daly, the run around with Hoppy, but McCracken crunches him. He read it beautifully. McCracken came up and took him out on the run around. Furner, this Canterbury defence is sorting him out here, and back they drive them. Mandruka somehow came away with it, but he was offside. The ball was lost by Furner. Mandruka in an offside position. A penalty, very handy to the posts.
Well, this also, great defence here. You can see Canterbury all very enthusiastic, just enthusiasm at its very best, and that's what causes these type of mistakes. And Andruka saw the ball, picked it up, and offside, obviously.
Did look like a strip, though. There seemed to be a Canterbury hand in there, pulling it out of Furner's grip. Jacko, plenty of intensity from Canterbury.
Certainly are. Mark Brokenshire and Marty Munster-Bella leading the way. Mark Brokenshire, in fact, is coming back from a broken jaw, but you wouldn't know it. Normally when you've had a broken jaw, you're a little bit tentative, but he's been ripping right in, as has Marty Bella, and if they keep that up, they could lead the way to a Canterbury victory. Terry
Lamb right in front, 52% success rate. First points on the board to the Bulldogs. 2 points to 0 after 5 minutes of play. And they're playing very impressive football at the moment, Canterbury. Not that Canberra aren't playing fairly well either.
No, the inclusion of Jared McCracken, as I said earlier, back in the side, that he just incorporates that enthusiasm, that aggression, that controlled aggression in defence, and that really does lift all the players around him.
I believe the inclusion of McCracken is very good for Canterbury, not just because of his individual abilities, but because of the switch. It's allowed Darren Smith to go into the second row, but Brokenshire coming into the front row. Dean Pay's gone back into that second row. It's a much more solid pack all of a sudden for Canterbury.
Very well balanced side.
Sidaris, taken by Croker and Hetherington. Brett Hetherington. Dean Pay galloping forward, 10 short of halfway. Sidaris, down the blind he goes. Williams. No doubt Jason Williams will be very keen to take this opportunity to hang on to his first grade spot. Dropped for the inclusion of Brett Dallas originally. Daly's got it. Brokenshire, well, at least he knocked him sideways. That was a great effort by the front rower.
Interesting to see Laurie Daly standing back at on the wing then.
Belcher to Hoppy. Belcher again. Nandruku.
This bloke's got plenty. He's probably one of the most outstanding players of the season, is Nandruku.
Lomax. We haven't seen Shadell yet. He's just one off the ruck, but they go to the blind side with Belcher. Belcher's getting up and doing a lot of the linking, one off the ruck. Getting involved. Last tackle coming up for the Raiders. Shadell a dummy half to Walters. Daly, Lamb up on top of him. Furner in trouble. Got to get rid of it. Loses it forward. Meninga put it on the toe, but it's got to be a knock-on against Furner. It's a handover. Last tackle. They made the mistake. Great defence by Terry Lamb.
And Jared McCracken also. They read that well. They saw the Canberra run on the last tackle, and McCracken read that very well, I thought.
I don't think they were intended to run it. I think that's how they're intending to kick the ball. Already, and this will sound like a broken record this afternoon, but already we've seen how they've missed Ricky Stewart.
Now Dimmock sorts his way up the centre. They're only 25 metres out, Canterbury. Sidaris tears ahead. Good run. 15 out now. Play a dummy half. Lamb goes himself, cut straight through. Terry Lamb shoots straight between them. An amazing try. Because the defence laid right off him. They thought he was going to pass it wide. Lamb sensed the opportunity. Cut off his left foot straight through a hole which opened up and scrambled over the line. Canterbury leads 6-0. Lamb here holding the ball in front. They looked at his supports, the defenders, and over he goes in the arms of Belcher.
Yeah, this bloke only gets better. Terry Lamb shaping the kick. The Canberra players laid off him, off his left foot, and a beautiful four-pointer there by Terry Barbar Lamb, the favourite son here at Belmore.
He landed his first goal from right in front. This is a little harder. It's between the posts as well. A fine start for the Bulldogs. They lead 8 points to 0. 10 minutes of play gone.
As we see here, carrying the ball in 2 hands for all you youngsters out there. Gives him the option to kick, pass, or run himself, as he did then. Good little sidestep inside the big front row, inside Lomax and Hetherington, over for a 4-pointer. He's an inspiration to this side, Terry Lamb. One of the regrets in my career is I never got to play with him.
Well, I did, Jacko, and it was in his earlier years, and he was a great player from the outset. He virtually went straight into first grade. Everyone knew he was a talent. Mark Brokenshire hits it up. In fact, one of the reasons that Terry Lamb is still going around is his desire to win a premiership, another premiership with Canterbury. Darren Smith, who we haven't seen a lot of so far in attack.
Well, one thing's for sure is that both these sides will meet each other in the semi-finals with weeks to come. And I just think from a psychological point of view, both coaches would have emphasised that fact.
Now Lamb kicks down to Belcher on his own 20. Gathers it in well and gets away from Jim Dimmock. That's a good sign for Gary Belcher. He has lost a metre of pace after suffering that bad injury, which meant he missed all but 1 game last year. But his ability to return the kick was always his greatest strength. And to beat a tackler like Dimmock would give him plenty of confidence. Now Pongia hits it up, but he is buried. Good defence. Smith and Brokenshire. Lomax. Oh, McCracken came in with a good strong tackle underneath. The ball lost though, and Mandruku can't regather.
Well, that's twice now we've seen in a matter of 5 minutes where the Canterbury defence have continued the pressure on the Canberra runners, and both times now they've lost the ball.
And McCracken coming in, really driving in with the arm to the rib cage, and that aided the ball coming loose.
I think it's fair to say Canterbury on a level of 1 to 10 in the intensity stakes are probably about 9, whereas in Canberra at this stage about 7.
Scott Wilson running wide, he cuts through, Belcher can't get him. Wilson's got his winger, out it goes to Williams. Williams for the line, Nandruku can't get him. Another try to the Bulldogs, they are on fire. The Bulldogs, with 2 tries, lead 12 points to 0. Just 12 minutes of play gone, a point a minute for them. Cutting loose from the scrum. All started with the runaround. Polamatta comes around Lamb. Out wide, the cutout pass past McCracken. Wilson got away from that Gary Belcher, and a great pass. Well pulled in by Williams. The cover from Nandruku couldn't get there. But look at the driving pass here. McCracken pulled out the defence.
Yeah, here we see Scotty Wilson showing the dummy. The Canberra Raiders playing their sliding defence. Keep on sliding to the left-hand side. Wrong foots him, and a great ball there to finish off. Great try.
And why wouldn't they celebrate? Let's look at the defence here, see if they're attracted to McCracken. Well, we couldn't really see it, but there it was, the push-off, the fend by Wilson, and a good pass in the tackle. Good finish from Jason Williams. So Canberra in trouble. Mal Meninga saying a few words. Sean McRae, the trainer, out there relaying instructions.
They haven't really laid a base, Canberra, so far. They haven't had a good set of 6 with the forwards going forward. They've been going crisscrossing across the field, taking to the blind side. They need to get a bit more of a base and just settle down.
They're getting harder for Terry Lamb. This is 12 metres from the touchline. It's a beauty. A tremendous kick. When the chips are down, look to a class act. It's Terry Lamb. It's 14-0.
If there's one bloke under pressure you'd like to be taking goal kicks, it's that bloke Terry.
See here the plan move from the scrum. Scotty Wilson lightning off the mark and has got a good fend. He's shown potential for 3 or 4 years now, Scotty Wilson, and it's great to see he's finally fulfilling it. Williams over in the corner. The Bulldogs on fire, and Canberra watching this minor premiership slip away.
Jason Williams, the try scorer, was playing Metropolitan Cup before Canterbury rescued him, and it is the Metropolitan Cup Grand Final today as we speak. Right Eastwood playing St Mary's. Jason Williams could have been playing in that. Instead, he's playing for New Zealand, playing for Canterbury, looking for a premiership win. It is the Raiders now on the attack, only 15 metres out. And Daly to Meninga, pushes off one, gets it to Shadell. Crunching tackle though, Brokenshire. 5 out. Furner tries to hassle his way through the line. The back line is set. Shadell, dummying, gives it to Lomax, pops it back. Hetherington got away from Lamb. Loses the ball in the tackle. No signal from the referee, it's play on.
Well, I'm sure Tim Sheens wouldn't be terribly pleased with the mistake, the handling mistakes that Canberra side have made. They're just undisciplined type of handling errors. Here we see another drop ball with the punishing defence that the Canterbury side are implementing.
Canterbury under pressure after Scott Wilson lost the ball the first time, but they've weathered that storm.
And that's only been their only mistake to date.
Total errors, 7-4. Oh, Doolan's gone without it. Daly's got it. Misunderstanding. And now the penalty goes to the Raiders against Scott Wilson, trying to hold on to Daly, slowing him down. They could feel the pressure all of a sudden. For the first time in the game, the heat was on Canterbury. Doolan should have taken that. Maybe a little bit of frustration knowing that twice they've coughed up the ball and Canterbury then concede the penalty right in front of the sticks. It's simple, isn't it, really? A pass comes out to a man, you've got to simply take them, but it can change the game so dramatically.
Well, that's right. Canberra have made 2 errors, 2 tries against them from those errors. And Canterbury, well, that's their second handling error and probably be penalised 2 points.
Chris Anderson never gives much away. Now, David Furner has kicked 68 of 109, 62%. And he strikes it nicely. The Raiders put their first points on the board. They trailed by 12, Canterbury 14, Canberra 2 after 16 minutes. Torrid pace early. Meninga. So Mullins out in front of him. He took it well. Hoppy. Connolly rounds him up. Just like a sheepdog rather than a bulldog. Furner.
Huge work rate already by Martin Bella. 10 tackles and 7 hit-ups.
Meninga to Hoppy right on the sideline. Williams has got him, but the penalty goes against Terry Lamb, who was never back, according to referee Annesley. Just short of the halfway, Canberra will look for touch. Canterbury leading 14-2 after 20 minutes.
The Raiders are playing a bit of razzle-dazzle football down in their own half.
Hetherington straightens it up. Shadell, Hoppy. Oh, Brokenshire. Hoppy book tackle. Shoulder first, drove him back. Walters to Hoppy.
They make a huge difference, don't they? Brokenshire and McCracken.
Shadell. Lomax. I know that these days the first up tackler often wants to wrap up the ball, but if you go low and hit hard enough, as Brokenshire is doing, well, you just stop them dead. Now this penalty goes to Canberra, and a Canterbury player is going to be called out.
Yeah, Jared McCracken yet again, 5 yards. He's given the big 10 metres, and he reckons McCracken's going up just a little bit too early. I think he's given the big warning here, the big finger point.
Gavin Hill's going on. I think he'll replace I'd say replace Mark Brokenshire, give him a bit of a blow. Yep.
A good call by referee Annesley. McCracken was never back for 10 metres. He only went back 8 for all the penalties. The Raiders go on the attack. And Lomax is hit hard. Darren Smith, good hit. Shadell goes himself. It wasn't a Shepherd, though. The crowd are hooting. Hetherington went straight through. No tackler was impeded. Daly goes wide. Mullins away from Dimmick. Brett Mullins to the corner. Wants the pass to Belcher. I think it went forward. It did. The last pass from Gary Belcher going forward as Scott Wilson scrambled across in defence. But great work by Brett Mullins.
Fantastic work here. The wide pass to Witt. Here we go. Laurie Daly putting a lot of pressure on the opposition with the inside ball. Just a couple of missed tackles there by Lamb and Dimmick. And there the ball bells in forward motion. For Canberra.
Canterbury leading 14 points to 2. Hill takes on Lomax, but he stops him. Kiwi on Kiwi. Pay.
Canberra just don't seem to be as positive as they used to be.
And Sidaris working it to Dimmick and moving the ball around. And look, it's all Canterbury in terms of metres gained, but Canberra have had more ball over the last section of play. They're now ahead after Canterbury had it all early on. Wilson drives it, looking for the line. Belcher across. Williams arrives. And Belcher just falling into the tackle, protecting the ball. Shadell to Hoppy. Well, Canberra have had plenty of ball, but on the scoreboard it shows Canterbury have scored 2 tries to 0. Furner's lost it. And away go the Bulldogs. Golden opportunity here. 20 metres out. Bella. Lamb. Dimmick. He's got his arms free. McCracken. Meninga has him covered. And across comes Croker. Driving tackle. Polomata. Lamb. Pay. Smith going straight. Canberra a little short on the left. Lamb looking for Hill inside. It's on the ground. Canberra have recovered.
I think Canberra knocked on there. I think they're fine, yeah.
It's come off David Furner.
They're heartbreakers, those little accidental... actually, it's come off Shadell. Those accidental little knock-ons that give them 6 to go. They're real heartbreakers.
Canterbury seem very much threatening when they've got the ball here. Every time they do something, they always seem to be offloading the ball.
They're only 5 metres out. Pay pops it to Hill. And he goes straight and hard. He pulls in 3 of them and he's still going. A handful. Smith to Lamb. To Wilson. Meninga's right up on top of him. Came sprinting up to make the tackle and they lost ground. 20 out now. Lamb. Dummies to Smith. Polomata, nice step. Another Canberra hand in there. 6 more tackles. Well, if Canberra can weather this, they're a good defensive side. It's Polomata. Away he goes. He goes all the way. It had to come. Just too much ball for Canterbury. Unluckily, twice Canberra getting a touch to give another 6. Polomata is hurt. But Canterbury lead by 18 points to 2. It's a big climb back for Canberra from here. Polomata still in trouble. But here he was. He just ripped through them. Mullins missed the tackle, but he was sliding across field in 2 minds.
You talk about players being hard to tackle. This bloke, Craig Polomata, is very deceptively strong. He's off. Great footwork there. Where are we? This was the 6 to go. Polomata gets involved after here and just takes him on, does it all himself. Off his left foot, his little... No, he's a small version of Terry Lamb, if you can say that.
Yeah, and what an impact he's made on league. Now, Mal Meninga is going to have to lift the Canberra side. They are in real trouble in this match. And Gavin Hill has taken over the goal kicking from Terry Lamb now that Hill's on the field. Hill with a 62% success rate, 31 from 50 for the season. This is not an easy one. Just 7 metres in from touch. Has a long look at the posts. Concentration. Oh, they're hitting them beautifully today, all three goal kickers that we've seen in action. That's a great kick. Canterbury 20, Canberra 2. 5 till half-time.
Here we go. Polamatta puts the foot down, missed tackle Brett Mullins. See you later, Sean Hoppy. Gary Belcher's too late. Try time. And Ipswich grammar boy, just like the Walters. Stevie Walters won't be real happy with his old schoolmate there.
Well, Canberra may be a little flat. I think you've got to say Canterbury are really on fire. They're playing great football here, moving the ball around. Here's Polamatta. And they haven't taken a lot of risks doing it, the Bulldogs. Tim Sheens is the worried man. Smith up the blind side. The defence slow to move up. Hetherington got to him eventually. Dimmock hops it back and just held onto by Connolly. That was a risky pass, but they're all working. Dimmock goes again. Stabs into the in-goal area. Back goes Belcher. And at last some relief for Canberra as the ball bounces their way. Walters sprints back to the 20 for the tap, but here it was. Dimmock gave chase, and he would have had Belcher a little worried. David Wesley.
I think Canberra should look to Laurie Daly to do something exceptional here.
Belcher. Back to Meninga. He pushes off Polamatta. Mullins now. The tenacious Canterbury defence won't let up. They really are like Bulldogs. They've got their teeth right in the seat of the pants of Canberra. They're not letting them go. Daly's kick bounces for Wilson. Good tackle, though, by Daly. Smith. Well, the defence didn't move up. That's poor defence.
It's just been all Canterbury. In every facet of this game so far, it's all been Canterbury. In defence, attack, the kicking game, it's all Canterbury.
Sedaris. They're only 30 metres out. Another try here, and you would have to say that Canberra are gone in this game.
Well, they've got 1 minute to do it. Warren?
Martin Bella's 12th hit up of the match. Lamb. Connolly. Daly swooping up on him. 5th tackle now. Polamatta, he kicks for himself and dives through, but Mullins, I think it is, has got it for the Green Machine. The Green Machine needs a little oiling at the moment. It's Canterbury leading 20-2.
And running into a very strong win.
And the penalty goes against the Bulldogs. Bella up. The tap taken by, should say, Belcher. Daly tries to put Meninga into the hole. Nandruku. Doolan pulls him into touch. Well, that is a tremendous piece of work by Paul Doolan.
Well, that's how they started the half. They've started off with aggressive and enthusiastic defence, and this is the way they're finishing it.
If you were Doolan matching up against Nandruku, you'd be standing right on top of him all day, wouldn't you? Yeah, the siren is gone.
It's a great
and this 25,000-odd crowd are roaring.
Great 40 minutes for the Doggies.
So at half-time, Canterbury have scored 3 tries to 0, and they lead 20-2. Well, Canterbury in control here at Belmore at half-time. Let's have a look at those half-time stats. The overall tackles, Canberra forced to make a few more, 112 to Canterbury's 103. The error count, Canberra have made 19 errors. Now, there are quite a few missed tackles and a number of losses of possession, dropped balls, bad handling there by Canberra. Penalties are even. Scrums 5-2 to Canterbury, none against the feet. Metres gained, it's all the Bulldogs. Possession has gone their way. Half-time, it's 20-2. The second half, ready to go, and Terry Lamb gets it downfield. It'll be interesting to see what sort of attitude Canterbury do take to this game. Now, do they close it up? Do they continue to play the aggressive, enterprising style of game that they displayed in the first half? Meninga upended by Sedaris. Wasn't judged to have been lifted. Now Lamb's come up with it. Away they go, but the referee's going to call it back. Well, Canberra with a horror way to start the second half, losing it straight away, but they've got the scrum feed here. Let's have a look at this. Well, it came off Darren Smith onto the Canberra player. first of all.
Canberra don't seem to be a side like they're playing for minor premiers. I mean, they just seem to be going through the motions. Nothing exceptionally... Well, here we go.
Shadell just rounded up by his opposite number. Well, no, I mean, it's as obvious as anything, isn't it? As they lose the ball again. Hongia that time going without it.
Well, I'm sure...
But this is not a team, this green machine is not a team that can win a grand final unless they can do a lot better than this.
Well, I think it's a major SOS for Bradley Clyde, Osborne, and, I mean, impossible for Stewart, but, I mean, for Osborne and Clyde to get back in a real hurry.
Now, Terry Lamb loses the ball, an uncharacteristic mistake. A lack of concentration there from him.
I think that's a good point, Benny, about Paul Osborne. If they've missed anyone today, it's been him, because he does get that ball forward and he gets them rolling along, and that's what they've been lacking today. A bit more of that they need, a bit more Quinton Pongia.
They're on the halfway line. Lomax. Canberra have the experience in the side to play out this last 40 minutes with concentration and hit back. It's Nandruku. Doolan gets him by the bootlaces. And we can go down now to Peter Jackson with Ricky Stewart.
Well, Rick, things aren't looking too good at the moment, mate.
No, they're not looking good at all. They're Canterbury got a roll on. They got had a lot of bounce in the balls lately. They're playing very well, but not looking good at the moment. But Tim's just asked them to come out to win this half.
They look a little bit flat. Would you say that?
Not so much flat. They just haven't had a roll on at the moment. They haven't had a good couple of sets of six together. I think it's important if they can get 2 or 3 sets of 6 consecutive sets, and they get a good couple of advantage line runs and a bit of yardage. It's going to give you a little bit more, give the team a little bit more confidence.
How's the gammy leg going?
Oh, very frustrating. But it's just a matter of now just trying to get all the rehabilitation out of the road and get back into training for next season.
Now Shadell, Nandruku. Bella gives him a bear hug.
Well, Canberra must score the next... They must score the next points on this score to be back in this game.
Walters looking for Pongia. It goes to no one. Walters tries to recover. Mullins has got it, but they've lost 15 metres. And Steve Walters gets slowly to his feet and comes back on side wondering how come it's not working today. Used up 4 tackles. They're still 30 metres out. Daly places the kick through. Wilson gets to it as Nandruku nails him. Doolan from dummy half. Croker came out of the marker and hit him hard. Crowd thought it was a little high, but I thought it was all right. Oh, Nandruku, shoulder charge on Wilson.
It's going down.
Oh, Wilson, he is in Disneyland, and I tell you what, he is really hurting. Was it okay? Was it legal? Looked like it hit him in the chest.
Kamikaze style, just launched himself into him. Boom.
Well, he's got him with his shoulder on the chin. Is that a high tackle, Warren?
Well, did he hit him on the chin?
I think he did. He's holding his chin anyway.
So the kick has gone out on the full. Scott Wilson back on his feet. He looks okay.
Let's see what the Raiders can do here. They've got to capitalise on their mistake.
Wesley. Hay can't get hold of him, and Wesley goes again. They're useful, those kind of bursts where you pick up a 5-metre edge that you weren't originally expecting, and the defence has to turn again. Now Hetherington.
There just doesn't seem to be any urgency with the Canberra side.
I think they're trying, Betty. It's just not quite coming together yet, but I wouldn't give up on them. Croker. Oh, ridden towards touch by Smith. And into touch. Now, no action from the ref. He says that he went over the sideline in the action of the tackle. Let's have a look at it from this angle.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can't say much more than it was a great defensive tackle. I think he's put his head on the line's out.
Darren Smith, everyone knows what a great attacker he is, but today I think he's really stood up and been counted in defence.
He's tackled above his weight, hasn't he? Ken Nagus is getting ready.
Well, he is surprisingly a fairly big guy, Darren Smith. He doesn't look that big on the field, but here he goes now.
Crosses the halfway line. Bella. Mandruku is coming off his wing to get involved in a lot of defence. And there are the top tacklers. It's Bella, Lamb and Dimmock for Canterbury as the Bulldogs swing it wide. Hetherington, Pongia, Lomax. Wilson tried to find Connolly, couldn't. And Canberra have got back there to save it. Hoppy. More good defence. It's all blue and white.
Well, this is a side that wants to be minor premiers, and they're playing like it.
They want to be in the top three too. I'm afraid that Brisbane and Manly supporters and players are going to have to cheer a lot harder because Canberra don't look like winning this game. They're down 20-2. Meninga has left the field.
Well, that's interesting.
Nagus on. Daly fires it to Lomax. Away goes Mullins. He is fast. Wilson comes across. The kick again. Got to be a penalty against Wilson. Sidaris has got it. Surely he was knocked sideways illegally. The kick was put in. Let's have another look at it. Was this late? What do you reckon, Benny?
It's a fine line.
Well, the referee said it was okay.
Fine line.
Maybe couldn't have pulled out of it. Those things happen pretty quickly, but...
Things are all happening for Canterbury, so it may as well go in.
As Smith motors across field, pull down 10 short of halfway.
Jacko, it'd be interesting to find out about Mal. Well, what's the story there?
Yeah, he looks okay.
He looks all right?
Yeah, he's okay. I think he's incredibly disappointed, obviously, but he doesn't look to be injured.
Hill is going to the blood bin.
Ken Nagus is the sort of bloke who can add a bit of spark. I remember he scored a couple of tries when he came on as a replacement.
Number 23 going on for the under
against Illawarra down in Canberra a couple of months ago now.
Yeah, he's a very handy replacement. Canterbury have also swung a replacement out there as Lamb kicks it away from Belcher. He's gone too far. Gavin Whittaker is on there for Canterbury in 23. It's just for Hill while he goes to the blood bin. Lomax runs straight into Whittaker. Siddell, Daly, Mullins, Daly again. Hops it back to Hoppy and taken by Dimmock. Siddell, Belcher, and Lamb comes swooping in on the angle. They were short out wide, Canterbury, but the up and in defence that time from Lamb stopped them. Walters. They've used up 5. Daly, he has taken over most of the kicking role today, and he goes for touch and finds it. Interesting, coming into the game, Tim Sheens believed that he had 2 or 3 options in replacing Ricky Stewart. He went for Trevor Siddell. Laurie Daly was one of them. He could play Daly at halfback. Matthew Wood was another, but Matthew Wood pulled a hamstring muscle in the reserve grade, so you would think he's out of contention for the moment.
Is Ricky Stewart giving Tim Sheens some advice or some comment?
The score hasn't changed since half-time.
Jacko, do you think Tim Sheens will keep with Trevor Siddell at halfback?
I don't think he's been their problem today, Ben. I think he's done what's been expected of him. But I think it's been a pretty lacklustre performance by the whole team. But that's not taking anything away from the Doggies.
No,
they've played well.
Up goes Bella again. Just thinking about those options, there was another that was mentioned. Steve Stone played halfback earlier in the season for a couple of games. Lamb. Taken by Pongia, but not without a wrestle. Across the halfway line. Last tackle. Dimmock down that blind side. And finds touch at a very acute angle.
That's a great kick. He had probably about 5 metres to work with, and he's gained himself 40 metres.
I reckon you could have a great debate about who's been the best buy for Canterbury this year. Has it been Bella? Has it been Demick? Sedaris has done his job. Connolly, Wilson. Earlier in the year, would have thought Luke Goodwin was one of the best buys of the season.
They've bought very well and they've really performed. Their injuries, all their right players are coming back at the right time of the season. They're hitting their straps, just like St George.
And it's come against the feed. Well,
it's all going Canterbury's way, isn't it?
Well, just before Ricky Stewart hurt his leg, someone must have smashed a mirror or walked under a ladder last week, because nothing is going their way. Sedaris. A try here must win the match, must seal it. Polomata. Lamb. Goes to Wilson. Wilson outside Mullins. He came at him. Still only 2 metres out, though. On the ropes, Canberra. Connolly goes himself. Went low. Again, it was Mullins. Lomax in front of him. Polomata. Last tackle play. Polomata for the line. Stretches. The try's going to be awarded. Checks with the in-goal judge. Must only be a question of a double movement. Long discussion. Try awarded. Try awarded. Disputed by Gary Belcher. And Laurie Daly now argues with referee Annesley. Canterbury celebrators 24-2. Determination on the last tackle from Craig Polomata. And now let's just see, was he tackled effectively before he stretched out? Care to give it a call?
Oh, that's a fair try.
I think it's a double movement from mine.
Well, his hand with the ball in it does touch the ground, but was he really stopped?
No, his shoulders have got to be on the ground, Jacko.
Well, it's the ball or the arm carrying the ball. But there was some momentum, wasn't there? I don't know. What do you reckon? Have another look.
It's a double movement from mine. What do you mean your shoulders have got to be on the ground? It's not World Championship Wrestling, Benny, is it? What do you got to pin for?
This is the best angle. This is the best angle.
He's not held. He's not... Boom.
Yeah, that's a double movement for mine.
Well, I know if you tackle short of the line and your hand and the arm are still off the ground, you are allowed to reach out, but I think that,
well, the in-touch
technically that was a tackle.
He did give him credit. Go to the in-touch goal.
They had a long talk.
Yeah, they spoke about it. No doubt. He thought there was no doubt to start with. He double-checked. There was no problems there.
It deserved a try anyway. Now Lamb has got the goal kicking again. 100% record for him today. He really is celebrating. Doesn't sound like it, but Terry Lamb must have some ethnic blood. He really has celebrated this multicultural day. Canterbury 26, Canberra 2.
Here we go. We said how strong he is. He shrugs off one. For me, he's tackled there, but doesn't matter. At least the game doesn't hinge on that decision, but great little try to Polomata. He's had a whale of a game.
Yeah, he's played out. Been one of their best.
Smith. (26-2). 18 minutes of play to go. Jason Smith stopped on his own 20. Lamb takes off. Connolly has been kept fairly quiet, Gary Connolly, by Brett Mullins. Sedaris. This is Ken Nagus.
But have a look at the chase. Have a look at this footwork.
Well, the chase was okay, but the line became a little straggly at the end. The crowd today, 20,149. Crowd hooting for a possible forward pass.
Yeah, 20,000 of them all being Canterbury supporters.
Wesley gets it back to Pongia. Oh, that's got to be an attempted strip by Gary Connolly. I guess he didn't do it, so he wasn't penalised, but he sure was trying. Shadell, Daly, Nandruku, and step off left or right. That's equally good defence.
Adds a lot of colour to the game, doesn't he?
More ways than one. Away goes Walters. 30 metres out, fifth tackle. Up it goes from Laurie Daly. Scott Wilson doesn't go for it on the full. Well, this is the tactics by Canterbury, obviously. But they've come away with it this time through Darren Smith. It's a risky tactic. Wilson could easily have challenged for that ball.
Well, that's the second time we've seen Wilson have a how you going at the high ball.
doesn't show a lot of confidence, particularly in that situation. In fact, in both situations in this game, that pass looked forward from Sedaris, where Wilson really hasn't had too much pressure on him, but still hasn't challenged for it.
This bloke's been good. His work rate's been one of the best for Canterbury this afternoon.
He gets it back to Whittaker. Lamb. And again away from Belcher. Terry Lamb's kick is going to be a little too long, is it? Yes. But his direction with his kicks has really made the fullbacks and wingers chase across field. Martin Bella leaves the field.
A standing ovation from the crowd.
18 hit-ups, 23 tackles. And as I look at the total tacklers, look who is number one for Canterbury now. Terry Lamb. Terry Lamb is leading the tackle count. That's an extraordinary effort for a 5'8" in front of his forwards. 24 from Bella, 23. And Lomax and Pongia for Canberra with 26.
Well, that's certainly your captain leading by example.
Wesley, one of the young up-and-coming Raiders. And Whittaker's got hold of Walters. He slips it away to Shadell. Shadell hasn't done anything wrong, but he hasn't made an individual impact on the game. And the referee's going to put a scrum down. He says that Shadell lost it.
Yeah, give credit there to Annesley. He looked at the sideline. He didn't know what happened. He got the guidance from the side touch judge, and he said it was just a simple knock-on. Lost the ball and play the ball.
Let's see whether it was simple. Tackler is Hill.
No, well,
hard to tell.
Little flick of the wrist.
McCracken to play it. Wilson. Scott Wilson, elusive. Dummies, goes straight through. Now looks for Doolan. And across they come in cover. Ken Nagus got there. Canterbury calling for the ball on this side. Sedaris works it back in amongst the forwards. Polamatta has it. But on this side, Connolly and Williams are screaming for it. Lamb must have heard them. Fires the long pass. Smith. Connolly. Kicks ahead. Here goes Williams. Across goes Hoppy. Mandruka was also coming.
Well, that's going to be a Canterbury fee. I think Sean Hoppy threw that in the touch. Just have a look here on the replay. Good kick into the corner. Yeah, Sean Hoppy just pounces it away.
And this crowd, hearing the announcement of the crowd of 20,000, have had everything to roar about today. Their side is going to go marching into the semi-final with one heck of a performance. Canterbury have got the ball again. Polamatta. He scored from close range just a little while ago. Backs to the wall for Canberra. Darren Smith goes himself. It's as easy as that. Marshmallow defence. They opened up Canberra, and they hang their heads in disbelief that they can be opened up like this. They moved up too quickly on the outside, trying to cut it off. And Smith, who's not the fastest man in the world off the mark, he is strong, just saw the hole and went straight through, away from David Wesley, who got him by an ankle only.
Well, here we go. Just a simple Canberra moving up a little bit too quick, and he saw the gap and went through.
2 tries from just a few metres out. Darren Smith here took it 5 metres from the line and got there.
Everything Canterbury's done here this afternoon has been with confidence, and it really has paid off for them. I mean, they've been very tinny with a few of the things they've done here this afternoon, but to their credit, they've stuck in there. They've kept on going away. They haven't locked up the game. They've gone for points, and 30 points to 2. Who would have thought it?
Darren Smith, the Canterbury Player of the Year in 1990, had a brain injury last year with some bleeding in July of 92, but he's bounced back and playing strongly as ever this year with the headgear on. Terry Lamb could throw it over. Canberra shell shock behind the posts. There it goes. Has Lamb missed today? Nope, not once. It's 32-2.
Here we go, the Raiders a little bit tired, not moving up off the line, in a straight line. And Darren Smith, he's a good player, Darren Smith. I played with him for a couple of years in the State of Origin side, and you know, he's an international of the future.
This is not a typical Canberra performance. 16 wins, 1 draw, 4 losses through the year. Away goes Williams, got it on the boot in time. Belcher picks it up.
Well, it's got everyone to think about the semi-finals now. Brisbane been beat last night, and Canberra here this afternoon. The old predictability of Canberra-Brisbane grand final, I think, might be changed now in a lot of people's minds, including mine.
A week's a long time in rugby league, isn't it? This time last week, you couldn't get enough money on Brisbane and Canberra playing in the grand final.
Yep.
Oh, that was before Steve Renoff and also Ricky Stewart got injured. Away goes Daly. Belcher. Bit of room this time. Still going. Flicks it out to Hoppy. And Dimmock's got him covered. Canterbury's defence has really been fantastic today.
Well, Dimmock's been everywhere.
Here goes Shadell. Took off, drops it back. Lomax recovers well. Here's a chance. Daly has got the numbers. He kicks for them. Doolan leading the chase backwards. And will get there as Mandruka swoops in on him. I don't know whether Laurie Daly should have kicked. He had plenty of players in support. He would have had difficulty getting the first pass to them, but if he was able to, they were away. Lamb.
So valuable, isn't he, Terry Lamb?
Hill. There hasn't been a whole lot in this second half, particularly if we query the double movement or possible double movement by Craig Polamatta. The first half was where Canterbury really did the damage.
Graham Annesley's been very good, but with the 10 metres, he's been very consistent. There's a great tackle there by Jimmy Sidaris.
Belcher. There's no team cohesion in what Canberra are doing now. They're just moving it around in hope. Furner. That's not unusual when you're getting beaten by 30 points.
And there's only 3.5 minutes to go.
I don't think there's been much there all day. I mean, Ricky Stewart, his skills are obvious. But one of the things about Ricky Stewart, as you know, Ben, is he's a tremendous talker on the field.
Oh, yeah, well, he's terrific. He gets behind you and really does G up the players, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I think they've missed out as well today.
Pongia loses it as he tries to get the pass away, tried to get his hands free. They've got 6 more tackles here. Canterbury, Polamatta.
Yeah, there he is with his coach. Very frustrated pair.
Probably, well, in some ways glad he's not out there, but obviously would wish that he was. Well, Canterbury, who've won 6 premierships in all the years. Golden run in the 80s when they won 4. 1980, 84, 85 and 88. They've got a chance in 93. They're going to be right up there as minor premiers going into the final series. Canberra will still be in the top 3.
Well, they've only got to win 2 more games.
Yep.
162 minutes away from it, aren't they?
Boys and girls, on behalf of our chief executive, Mr. Moore, I have a special announcement.
This is Jim Dimmock, who played a major part in what's happened out there today. He, together with Polamatta and Lamb, that 3-pronged attack that Canterbury can always look to, and the defence is never too sure who's going to be the one popping up.
And there's the man on the PA system telling everyone that they're going to be the minor premiers for 1993, and so true it is. 34 competition points. And unusual to see Noah Nandruga not scoring a try.
And not only will they be the minor premiers, but I'm not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure that they'll also win the club championships with this win today.
You're not sure, but you're pretty sure.
Reserve grade. Yeah.
And
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure.
You're not sure, but you're pretty sure.
Yes and no.
Here's Shadell, and I'm also pretty sure that that settles the top 3, doesn't it? There's a Canterbury, St George, Canberra, with Brisbane and Manly 4th and 5th.
Yep. So it'll be...
Brisbane and Manly play the knockout semi next week.
That should be a
That's right,
beauty.
and St George and Canberra play the Saturday game.
And a week off for Canterbury. The kick ahead from Mullins. And Sidaris, he's played well, and now he goes down the touchline.
Like a flanker.
Put his foot into touch. He saw his opportunity to go 90 metres there, Jim Sidaris. Yes. taken its toll on him, though. He's played very well. Who hasn't for Canterbury?
They've all played well. Good indication is when there's not one outstanding player in a side, it really does give a good indication of a good team, really set for bigger and better things. And Canterbury here, they're all been outstanding.
Yep, and the crowd are roaring. I think the siren has gone. The ball goes high from Laurie Daly. And Wilson, can he go?
Oh, he scored a
try.
He has scored the try.
Nandruku, the leading try scorer in the competition, has got the consolation.
And the fist in the air.
After the siren sounds. Unless he's 19th for the season. And I can't see anybody topping him now. He's 2 clear of his teammate Sean Hoppy, 3 clear of Sean Hoppy now. But really, this wasn't a fitting end to this game. It's been all Canterbury. And here's Nandruku.
Good on him.
After Canterbury this time elected not to go for the Laurie Daly bomb, Terry Lamb had a sort of half-hearted kick at it, and then Wilson couldn't get it. So will they persist with these tactics into the semis? Who knows?
Well, Loza heard the hurter go for full time, and there was only one option, really. That was to go high, and always a good option. And Noah, deservedly, I think.
As Furter puts it through, so the scoreline improves a little, but this was a 30-point thrashing. Even if it says 32 points to 8 at full time. There is only one minor premiers, there is only one convincing victor. It's Terry Lamb's Canterbury-Bankstown Bulldogs. It was 5 tries to 1 to the Bulldogs. The try scorers, Lamb, Williams, 2 to Pollamata, 1 to Darren Smith. Lamb kicked 5 from 5. Hill kicked a goal. For Canberra, they got just the 1 try. Nandruku scored it. Furner kicked 2 from 2. And Benny Elias, what does Tim Sheens do about Ricky Stewart's absence?
Well, I just think he has to get a psychiatrist in during the week and just mesmerise everybody to say, look, Ricky Stewart's not with us. Let's get on with the game. He's not going to be here for the semi-final race. Let's just go without him.
Interesting to see whether he does continue with Trevor Shadell. So that's it from Belmore. A very impressive performance by Canterbury. They're the minor premiers. Canberra still in the top 3, but a lot of work to do. We'll see you next weekend for the Saturday semi-final, live to regional area. See you then.